If you are interested in starting your own podcast, we use Buzzsprout because it is simple and easy to use. Buzzsprout can get your show listed on every major platform while giving you the resources for a great podcast website, audio players that can drop into other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening to your podcast, and tools to promote your episodes. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, and that is why over 100,000 podcasters are already subscribed to Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Following the link in our episode descriptions lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you. So in return, you will receive a $20 Amazon gift card from Buzzsprout while signing up for a paid plan. Most importantly, every subscription through our link is always appreciated and helps support our show so we can continue delivering the quality content that you guys listen to. That being said, back to the show.
Hello and welcome to Comic Book Junkies. This is Andrew.
This is Joe.
And this time, I don't exactly know what we have for you, other than this is a special directly after work edition. Just punched out like 15 minutes ago, got ready, and was just like, all right, time to talk about what? It's book time.
Yeah, we're on our grind constantly, bro. If we're not working, we're working on this.
I'm still punched in. That'd be crazy.
No, but I actually do dedicate a lot of time to this at work. Every time I clock out for lunch, I start editing, bro.
That's crazy. I respect the hustle, dog.
It's a lot. It's like a part-time job.
It's nuts. I commend the dedication.
Even on my vacations, I'll like make sure like I'm posted up in a hotel room late night working, but just got back from vacation with the burgers and didn't have to do any of that, which was nice.
No, that was a great trip. Good memories for sure. I had a grand old time. Hope Joe can say the same. I think both our wives did. My wife did a lot of firsts. Got the good up north experience. For those of you in state, I'm sure you know what we're talking about. If not, find out. And if you're out of state, don't worry about it. Unless you're cool.
First couples trip, but it was good to spend some time up north with you and our wives, bro.
Yeah, it was tight. Did a lot of antiquing, which, good way to look for books. More on that soon. And then also, tried to hit some comic shops to no avail. It was kind of a
crazy. You did a good job at the antique stores. We hit probably 5 of them, and I didn't get anything sweet, but Burger found a first plastique for me. Appeared in Smallville, so I figured that was worth less than $10.
Yeah, I feel like they use her in a lot of stuff actually. Or they will toss her in as like a minor character in like any animated stuff or video games or whatever. I feel like she's just around.
That was the only thing I was able to pull on our trip, unfortunately. And we were gonna hit one more comic book store at the very end, but I think the chickadees got a little tired out.
Oh yeah, for sure. They were ready to, we packed a lot in that weekend. It was a busy time. I mean, driving up north is no small feat. It's a long drive. We did, for those out there who need to know, Bay City, the Polish buffet, bro. Shouts out.
Facts, bro. I'm drinking Polish beer right now from the Polish buffet.
Hard. How is it?
Actually, really solid. It's a good beer. It's a good beer. Yeah.
Yeah, it just speaks to your genes and your DNA.
Yeah,
it doesn't made by you for you. Yeah.
It's I don't even know how to describe it, bro, but it's pretty decent.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
It's got a lot of flavor.
A lot of flavor, more flavors. That's the thing. They say the Polish people, oh, maybe their food, their drinks are lacking flavor. They don't know anything. They don't season stuff. No, dude, they got flavor.
No, bro, it's like straight potato, bro. It's great.
Yeah, dude. Number one vegetable, number one drink. But yeah, no, a lot of good times. But yeah, about those books we got. Joe got a plastique. I didn't get anything that crazy either, but I did get a Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane for like $10. It's really clean. Issue 105, the first like Silver Age Rose and Thorn. It's a separate character from the Golden Age one, but kind of like a mantle type deal. Joe has one as well, and I recognized it from his collection. And I was like, well, for the price, why not?
I also got mine at an antique store too.
Yeah, the antique store is the only place we found anything, and even that was kind of hard to do at times. But I did also get a ROM Space Knight 1. Get ready to join the new club. If you were already a fan of Devil Dinosaur, we're now bringing that energy over to share with ROM Space Knight. Covers give me the same vibe. It's a similar priced book and similar level for whatever reason. Get a ROM Space Knight. I got the one with the slash through the box. Apparently that's only 5% of distribution. So allegedly that's more rare. It's hard to know, but it was really clean too. It's sharp as hell for like $20, and like local shops have them at like 30 or more, and it wasn't even as nice. So I was just like, perfect. Makes
the slash through the box Does that means it's direct, right?
I believe so, yeah. I think the direct edition, there was less of them.
In all my years of collecting, I still don't know when it's advantageous to get the direct version. Obviously, if you know that it's only 5% of a print run, like that's the time to get it. But like, I never know like what eras, what books. I always lean on the side of newsstand, but it sometimes there are some direct books that are worth more.
Yeah, there is. I think there was a resource I saw online that kind of helps break down the year, but there's technically no way to know for sure on any given book, I would say. Maybe some skew that way, but I mean, I guess, I don't know. Certain years were just more privy to it, I guess. But it's like between like the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, when that starts kind of getting like even into the 90s, like when that starts becoming more of a thing. They could barely track like the numbers of how many new books are coming out. It's like you tell me they got a good breakdown of newsstand versus direct, but you could probably look around online that can help you with it. But I think it's so like ticky tack that I don't even think that there's like a rule of thumb you could go off of for it. I think it's literally like you need to know the year and stuff like that, and probably the company because it's just like But yeah, I think I'm with you. I tend to lean newsstand, but if it's a certain level book or I really just don't care and it's a good price, I'll get either one. I don't mind a direct book at all, but it just depends. But then
No,
again,
in
I do look
fact,
at some books and I'm
sometimes
just
I'll buy
like,
both.
yeah, I've been thinking about that. Like even like a dumb book like Dark Hawk 1 or something. I think I have direct and part of me is like, it'd be pretty cool if that was a newsstand. The lesser meme stock book, Dark Hawk. Dark Hawk is cool for similar reasons, but we're gonna elevate the Devil Dinosaur and then I'm gonna put Rom Space Knight up there. He was based on an action figure. That's cool. As a kid who would have loved a robot action figure, I'm in on that.
Yeah, great pickup. But I guess kind of to touch on our comic book experience, it was terrible. So
Yeah.
we didn't touch any comic book stores on the way there, just antique stores. And then on the way back, we actually went to three comic book stores. Yeah, one was
Closed on that day.
open but was moving locations, which is crazy. The second one, we drove past it because it was en route, but that one was closed that day. And then the third one was open. And when we got in, there was no key issues. They took
Or
it to the
silver.
local con to sell their books there instead, which I can't blame them. I mean, if you're going to a con, you want to bring like your best stuff, but in the same breath, like for those shopping that day at your store, you would think you would leave a few things behind. I don't know.
They didn't even leave like the silver regular stuff like I could have dug through. They just took anything that was cool and then left the remains. And then like some guys playing cards in the back of this dingy joint were just like, yeah, the modern starts back there. And I'm like, no, I'm not digging through modern books in here. I'm not digging through modern
That's
books nowhere.
crazy, bro. That's like picking up like cans and cashing in on the 10 cents, bro. It's just like I'm not
Yeah.
digging through that, bro. I'm not.
No, I don't even want them for $1. So it's just space. But yeah,
Their space, not ours. But
not mine.
yeah, that sums up our trip as far as comic collecting.
The rest of it
um,
was elite. It's just the comic collecting just
it was
it wasn't
poor.
meant to be.
But with that, I had a few topics for today, and I figured we would just kind of riff. And this is me getting to know you a little better too. Do you think that comics that are non-superhero comics can be good?
Oh yeah, I think they can be good. I just think largely they are not. Maybe that's just, what I want. Maybe that's not very objective of me. But no, I'm saying that yeah, there's propensity for there to be good non-superhero books, like independent stuff. I just tend to think that yeah, I mean the constraints are typically well, I mean, did you just mean like independent or did you just mean any non-superhero? Because like
Any non-superhero that's a comic book, do you think that there's like a space for it?
yeah. Yeah, I like all kinds of non-superhero stuff. I feel like I do like well, I mean, I guess it's in a superhero style book, but are they really superheroes? Like if they're the Sea Devils, like are those really superheroes?
Sure, I
Uh
get it.
but
And
and like I get what you're saying, but it's just I think back on stuff and it's either I missed the boat for when it was good or there's just nothing that's been good since I've been reading, in my opinion, nothing that interests me. I don't really care for a lot of it's hard to get me invested unless it's like really good. And nothing has hooked me like that, despite like people saying like certain stuff is like, no, I'm not gonna read Saga. It feels I don't know, like alphabet soup Star Wars. And then I'm not doing that. And then I mean like if you want to talk like here's my guy, Robert Kirkman. I feel like he's the one with the head on his shoulders over there. That guy's the hard worker of the crew. I mean, granted most of Image is all OGs, but like Kirkman's the one doing business. So I like his stuff. I mean, Walking Dead is not superhero. That's obviously a huge success. I mean, it is independent, but it is superhero. Like Invincible's fantastic. So, I mean, I just when I think back, like I've read some like some sci-fi type books. I've read some I don't know, like the true crime type ones even, and I've read what was yeah, just some other I don't know, it just never hits for me. If anything, the closest independent thing that I like is more so like those EC books they come out with. I don't think that any of them are like elite, but I think that they're solid for what they are because I feel like most horror books are dookie buns nowadays, and that one's pretty solid, at least in comparison. I like the covers, I like the format, you know, like the art, like the artistry of making these new books is cooler than what these people are doing in just standard books. So like I like what they're doing there, but like I haven't read Image in a good long while. I've been collecting over it's been more than a decade at this point, so it's just like it's probably been close to a decade, honestly. Like if it's not like Transformers or GI Joe or something like that. But outside of that stuff, no, it's just not for me. I feel like I'm gonna be like an English professor at like a college. That's how I feel if I'm reading an Image book or a non-superhero book. And something about me doesn't like how that feels, so I'm not gonna be like that. So I'm just gonna stick to what I know. I'm gonna stick to what I like, and I'm gonna read superhero shit, and I'm gonna give like total chud bro opinions because of it. Because tribalism's cool, and superheroes are better than your fucking nerd stuff. Woo! We gotta fucking reel them in at the end there. But yeah, how do
Facts.
you feel about?
No, I mean, there's definitely people that take advantage of it and then just do their weird weeboo shit.
Yeah, exactly. They have too much freedom to be like whiny weirdos.
No, you're right. So there's that, right? But I feel like if there was
Soft
more
tip.
structure to it, there would be some potential, right?
They
Like,
would need a
do you,
backbone.
for example, these new Etrigan or whatever they're called, they're like the GI Joe, the Transformers, the other stuff.
Energon?
Yeah, that Image is doing. Like, what do you
Yeah.
think about that?
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, I kind of just co-signed on that. The G.I. Joe, like the main book's fantastic. The Transformers book, when I did read it, was decent. Well, solid. A lot of people really like it. I heard the team's changing. Part of me's thinking about coming back because I took a siesta. But then isn't it like Kirkman and someone else or something like that? It's supposed to be starting the title? And
Yeah.
like
Yep.
Finch?
Yep.
Yeah, now see, I might come back for that because that sounds pretty sick. But I like the concept, and I like I was telling you earlier, like Kirkman, he's the one doing business there. He's bringing back the rights for that. I mean, like IDW is usually doing something Transformers or GI Joe, even concurrently sometimes. But like, him being able to make those books under Image, and him being like good for the business as he is nowadays, I'm kind of starting to really respect him even more than like most modern creators, which is kind of crazy just on the fly. But no, like I mean, that stuff's cool. I like the concept of it because it's like nostalgia, like 80s, like you remember the cartoons and stuff. And it's like it's not a stretch to see them cross over. If you do it right, it could be a very good concept. It plays into each other. Why wouldn't Cobra want like fucking robot parts?
Yeah, like I don't know. There's this early part of the modern age of comics where it kind of felt like a golden age of like independent stuff, and that was cool, but after that it seemed like there was no like cohesive
Peaks and valleys.
universe. And is that what it's missing? Like,
Well, the problem is that this is all usually self-funded or they have to come up with their own ideas without using existing characters. And then they either are doing mainstream work as well or whoever they're working on the book is, and then there's always a delay or a hiatus and it loses momentum, then it gets killed and then they don't make money so they don't continue it. And I feel like that's what happens and then like they're like, "Well, screw it. I'm going to try again. I'm going to rip another one." And I feel like that's what happened after that boom. Is people were really trying to capitalize because remember all those books were getting optioned for like films and stuff in Hollywood at that point, like Witches by Scott Snyder. I mean, that was even kind of later period. Like even before then, it was like,
no, I
you
remember
know,
like Wicked and Divine, Southern Bastards. Like there was like a lot of like fade out titles that were coming out at that time that were like
yeah, I
actually
read all
good
those.
reads, but like I don't know, everything was so independent. And it's not a bad thing, but like if you're gonna like compete against Marvel and DC, I feel like you have to have some kind of structure.
Well, that's basically what they did with Invincible, though, I guess. Robert Kirkman has structure in his worlds.
Yes, yes, exactly. Because like in Invincible, sometimes like you'll cameo like the Tick in there, or you'll like see like some kind of
Savage Dragon.
Spider-Man crossover, or Savage Dragon. Yes, exactly. And it's got to kind of exist in the comic book world without it being too independent. But I think you could actually I feel like there's a lot of room for growth there if you let Kirkman just kind of create a universe outside of Invincible of like different titles that could exist under like an independent platform.
You know what's kind of crazy though is like, well, obviously I mean, it's like obvious at face value, but like DC and Marvel can't have a finite like number of issues. It can't end. It can't be self-contained. As where pretty much all this image stuff kind of has to in a way because it's creator owned. You know, it starts getting more complex there when you start sharing character royalties or what have you, and yada yada yada. But you know, as I think that might be maybe part of the problem today, now that I'm also thinking like sideways, like to be successful, I feel like as an image book, you have to have like a kind of a fleshed out universe in a way, kind of like Walking Dead or kind of like Invincible. I mean, obviously I keep going back to those two, but those are such critical successes that have found like popularity and like I think are genuinely just good. Like that's good work. That's not just a shat out comic that's a fad. But like, you know, that's what's competing against like in the manga and stuff nowadays. Because think about it, like back in the day, you were a Naruto guy, full fleshed out universe.
You don't gotta say that, bro.
Bro, it's all right. I'm just saying this is middle school you. But I'm just making the comparison. It's easy enough. Or, you know, whatever one I watched, who gives a shit? I'm not embarrassed. The point is those get so, you know, people buy into it. It's fleshed out. It's its own universe and it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. If you want to spin stuff out of it after the fact, you could. But like, I think a lot of people connect more with that too, you know? So I think that's where like Image has its like way to get huge. Maybe they'd be better off, honestly, just pushing out like one bigger book, kind of like a manga method, since they are independent, and just, you know, doing like a flip through, like anthology type thing. Like you put like half a dozen like Image books in like one larger book and you just sell that and you know it gets people reading this shit and then you can kind of do your thing because I feel like it's got to be so hard to be producing your own book, writing it, and you know kind of making sure financially it makes any sense because it's not like you're even getting health insurance from probably the big two, so it's like, you know what I mean, like you're putting this shit on your own back. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, this is our TED talk on Image and indie, really breaking it down.
No, you do got a point there though, because both Walking Dead and Invincible have seen a lot of success. Both have been turned into TV shows, neither movies. If you owned Image, would you put out any movies?
Well, for those two for sure. I know they're trying to do Spawn again. We haven't brought up Spawn enough, but Spawn's also like the very persistent. He's kind of like Image's Spider-Man. I mean, you could see drawn similarities, but you know what I mean? I would do that. I mean, I like the old one and they're trying to develop a new one, but like what else would I put out there? Like I mean, I'm sure like for your money's worth, I don't care to see it, but I'm sure Saga would do well just based off those concepts. That's popular today. What else do they even got coming out that's like that? Like, is there anything that you feel like could actually become a franchise or like would be worth a movie?
At the moment, no. I feel like they've kind of gone away from those like whole universe building series.
Which
I
is
think they
good.
wanted to start that with Outcast, but they weren't able to put it together. I don't know. I think that when you open up a publisher that is just independent, you open up the door for too much variety and flexibility. But I think if you can kind of narrow it in, like they are kind of doing now with like some of those like nostalgia books and
Yeah.
create like a universe out of it, you could start to make movies and other stuff too, which would be really cool. And there's nothing wrong with independent.
Oh, a G.I. Joe, a new G.I. Joe movie based on this stuff would be good.
Right. And like I don't know. So
Transformers,
I
G.I.
think
Joe
that there's a lot
Transformers.
of potential for that stuff, but I feel like they kind of need some sense of identity.
I don't know that you can though, as like image, because then they would just turn it into a corporation that polices too much stuff when it's supposed to be a creator thing, like a hippie commune. If you want to have cohesive stuff and like stability, I guess you go over to the metropolis. You don't stay out in Smallville and write at your hippie paper.
Sure. No, I feel like they
I just don't
just
see how they could
allow
brand it.
too many different types of stories. I feel like they could almost be two different publishers.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's just, I mean, think about just the scale of the operation as is. If they changed anything, I bet it'd be like, whoa, it'd be all wonky. You wouldn't be getting as much of anything from them. Because I feel like, they're like, what, third fish in the pond, and the pond's already shrinking. So it's just like, I don't know what they could really do. They'd really have to like do like a whole, like, I think there's what, 7 or 8 guys like in charge. That what would they do? Have to like combine to be like, yes, this is what we do. We have to pool all our money together, and they're really just gonna be looking at Robert Kirkman and they're gonna be like, "Can you pay
You
for
in?
these?" Yeah, more or less. So you know what I mean? Like I feel like nah, because they all have their own imprints and everything too, and they release everything through there, and nothing crosses over. So I mean, there's no way to co-brand it or to cut things because then you're kind of going against what you set it up for. So I mean, I feel like they're kind of where they're at unless they can literally just get people to write good stuff through them. You know what I mean? Like just find like the next Kirkman basically, because they have to keep adding people, otherwise it's gonna, fizzle out.
I guess to that point, why do you think there's been such a drop off in independent stuff? Because, like, even if you don't like them as a brand, like, I feel like Image was putting out some quality stuff in like the 2010s, and now they're not like, they're just putting stuff out.
Well, I think that's reflective of one cynicism after reading like over so many comics over these past 10 years or more. And then also just the fact that it's a reflection of the current crop of talent. The people putting out the books are the same people writing the Marvel and DC stuff I bitch about. So it's just like, you think they're going to do better with something I already care less about than what they're trying to do? I don't know. Because there's so many ways that people could take it, but it's just there's something about the writing that's just so self-inserty and like whiny. I feel like that's just what a lot of the independent stuff is too. You know what I mean? I mean, I get that. As a writer, you got to write from your perspective or whatever you're thinking about. But sometimes it's just too much. Sometimes the voice isn't for like what you're trying to read and stuff like that. And I feel like, yeah, mostly that's just kind of what I'm getting out of the current crop. Like, I don't know of any like hot shots or anything like that. Like I feel like there's people who are like calling the shots now that we thought were sweet like 4 years ago. There's really just like nobody that stands out anymore, I feel. Or like there may be like a one trick pony, like a one hit wonder type deal for me. Like there's no one I consistently can follow nowadays. I mean, I can follow Mark Waid, but like I said, that's an old head. That's of a like bygone era now, you know what I mean? And a lot of those guys aren't doing stuff. I mean, Grant Morrison's not writing anything like really. And you know what I mean? And Jeff Johns is doing his own thing now. And even though I love Jeff Johns' books, I'm not reading his independent stuff. I'm averse to it, man. But I just got off topic on my greater point. But it's just, yeah, there's no one steering the ship, I feel, or there's no consistent house style anymore. Because even though it was kind of generic, like kind of back in New 52 and a little bit before that, house style is like Jim Lee style. Now you're getting everything across the board, and I feel like some of the art gets lazy, even though I feel like DC has the better artists still, probably, which is, I don't know. But it's just, there's no one I could think of anymore to be like, that's that guy. Like, I love the Immortal Hulk, but I don't like Ewing in general, I guess. Like, that's the only thing by him that I really dug, and the rest just haven't hit for me. Like, Immortal Thor was disappointing in comparison. Maybe I have a walnut brain, maybe it wasn't for me. And I like Thor, but, it just didn't hit. And then we like the Damian series, we like the Robin series, like stuff like that. But it's just like, whoever's writing and drawing nowadays is doing it in different styles that us apparently old heads don't like. And then, you know what I mean? It's like we're not even old, dude. And it already feels like it's gotten more childish somehow, like in general across the board. I think that might be what it is. I mean, it is a kid's book at its core, but like, I don't know. There's just something different about it nowadays. I think the world's just changed from the time of the books that we really enjoyed, the way that the craft was done, the paper, the style, the actual drawing, the talent. Because you could look back and you could name tons of people in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. But then when you think about like 2010, the 2020s, what are you going to do? Say Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, who was already doing it for a while. And like some of those guys have already fell off in my opinion too. So it's just like there's no one, there's not even old heads to go up to for reference Like, who's going to come in and save the day?
Yeah, I don't think that's a uniquely independent issue, too. I think that's just comic books in general.
Well, that's the same pool though. Usually there might be circumstances holding them out, but like usually the pretty solid people end up working for the big two. And if we don't find them as solid as they're supposed to be, they're also the ones putting out what should be the solid image books. But then that doesn't happen either. So then we're stuck reading nothing and then doing a TED talk on image books and why I'm not a fan. But I think I've said most of what I've got to say, I guess. We really went on for that one. You got any parting thoughts before we let people know?
No, I just wanted to make sure that the people know how we feel.
Yeah, now you know. Joe brought these to me, and a little bit behind the curtain, he was just like, let's talk about like, oh, if you could make image books or something like that. And I just started railing against it. I was like, bro, I do not want to get off work and talk about image books. I was just like, I will have no joy in me. But you know what? This hurt way less than I thought because I really started yapping, dog. Like it like worked it all out of me. Yeah, but everyone knows where I stand. But if you want to see where I stand, look on CBJ Pod on Instagram. We got pickups on there. Still got quite the backlog. I try to take my time and do like one a day, and those sometimes, I've been buying too much this year. But got those on there. Got new episode releases, all our links. Tell a friend, rate, review, subscribe. If you already have, thank you. We appreciate it. Tell a friend, keep listening. We'll have something good cooked up. Or will we? Hopefully the next time we record's a Friday. Friday night hang. But, we'll see. We got to kick some cans around. Been kind of busy. We haven't done any book reviews in a while. It's been a long time. And I'm probably going to be busy for the next month or so. But maybe we could figure something out like that in the coming weeks.
That'd be nice, bro.
It's been a good while. But for the next month, I think I'm booked. Oh, and I got to do landscaping. Really don't want to do that. Them quotes were too high. So someone needs a shovel and some rocks. Some large stones, dog.
Yeah, just call me over. I got it.
I'll get a whole crew. I think Charlie will come.
You have like another 30-year birthday party, but bring your own shovel.
That'd be sick as hell. How many people you think would come? Like two. Just you and maybe Charlie.
Yeah, probably.
Kyle ain't gonna do it if it's the weekend. I wouldn't blame him either. But damn, I don't know if that's staying in. But cool. Later,
Yeah.
y'all.
Later, guys.